Okay, I got a Honda fourtrax 300. I'm going to be putting a wheel cylinder on. All I've done so far is just taking off the tire. I didn't get a OEM one, I just got the aftermarket one. There's a part number off Amazon. I originally thought the brakes were bad, the front brakes, but I've already had this off and the front brakes weren't bad. So I just went ahead, it was actually just my wheel cylinder, so I just went ahead and put it all back together, and I've ordered a wheel cylinder and it finally came in, so I'm doing this video. So I feel like the tires should be self-explanatory. 4 lug nuts, take them off. To get this drum off, I'm going to take this cotta pin out and this castle nut, and this drum should come off. And if it don't come off, you're going to have to remove this red plug right here, and you're going to rotate it down to about one adjustment's about right in here somewhere, and the other one's about right in here, and you're going to have to back off those shoes. That way it'll allow you to pull the drum off. So I'm going to start with that, and when I get the drum off, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You know, this is also, I can go ahead and show you how to change your brakes too, you know, since you're going to be there anyways. Okay, I'm having a little bit of issue with this cotta pin. I've already had it out before, like I said, and I've kind of made it a little worse going back in. I was just a little too lazy to go to the store, and I actually forgot about it before I started right now, so I'm probably going to try to reuse this. But the best way I found is, if you can't get your needle nose pliers in there to kind of pry that down, I just took my mini pry bar. You can use a flathead screwdriver and kind of hammer it down, and then kind of get some wire pliers. These are Nipex. I love Nipex, by the way. I mean, they grip just about anything you want to grip. But anyways, and then kind of squeeze these together like I'm showing now. And I'm in the process now of getting this thing out, but it still won't come out. And I'm trying to save it. So I'm going to hit right here with my hammer, and this thing should come right on out. Okay, I got my drum off. With it off, I go ahead and inspect the wheel bearing, make sure you don't hear any noises and it's pretty tight. For the drum, if you have any emery cloths, just kind of go around there. I don't have any, so I ain't gonna worry about it. But here's the brake setup. As far as trying to adjust these, I had to adjust one side to get the drum off. If you go down, that brings the brake shoes in on both sides. If you go down, it brings in the brake shoes. I'm sorry. It'll bring in the brake shoes, so we'll let that drum come off. I just ended up having to adjust one side down. And if you go up, that's going to expand your brakes out. So there's my wheel cylinder. It leaks right in this boot right here. But as far as the brakes, I mean, if you move this clip and that clip and this spring right here, I think that's all that's holding these things on. I believe so. Yeah, that's everything that's holding this on. I'm probably gonna have to take one brake shoe off anyway to get this thing right here. But yeah, get my wheel cylinder off. I'm gonna do that, and you'll have to remove this vent hose, and then there's your brake line, actually the brake fluid, and then there's your little bleeder. You're gonna have to bleed the new one off, not necessarily the old one, but the new one. You're gonna have to bleed it off when you get it all back together and stuff. Now, when you are ordering this part, there is a right and left wheel cylinder. So make sure you get the right one. I'm on the right side, and it will have indicated, like see there's an R for right, but just make sure you read the description and it's on the left side, get the one for the left, because I think these things you just have to, these things right here you just have to clear. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So I'm probably just gonna take off this one clip right here. You may have to hold, should be able, yeah, on the back side you'll feel the pin head of this right here. And you may have to hold that while you try to depress this clip spring right here. And especially getting back on probably, but anyways. So yeah, check your bearings on your drum. Scuff it up if you got any emery cloth. If you're putting brake shoes on, that's pretty much it for that. Something else I forgot to mention, this castle nut is a 27 millimeter. I've noticed everything on the Honda four-wheelers seem to be a metric, so, but that's the size. So for this clip right, this pin right here in this clip, all I'm gonna do is take my needle nose pliers. I'm gonna go down there to the clip, and I'm gonna press in, and I'm just gonna turn, and it's gonna come, let it come right out of that slot, just like that. And see that pin is on the back right here. Find it. Yeah. Okay. Just reach to the back side, and that's where that pin is. I'm gonna leave mine there until I'm ready to go back together with it. But it should release this right here. This brake. It should come off. So, all right. Okay, I'm over here on the back side. There's two nuts that hold this wheel cylinder on, and one is a 10 millimeter. These two are 10 millimeters. There's one there and one right there. Both those are 10 millimeters. This side you can reach with your box end. This side you can reach with your open end. But if you really want to get better bite on it, remove this bleeder valve, and it should give you more room to get your wrench on there. So there's that. And then your banjo fitting right here, that was a 12 millimeter. But be careful, there's copper washers. This was one of them, and then the other one's on there. You don't want to lose those. That's how the banjo fitting seals off. So that's. Show you what I'm doing here. These are the bolts for the wheel cylinder, and I'm having to. This A-arm is in the way of these bolts coming all the way out, so you're gonna have to get both of them loose and pull and make that gap. That way you can finish unbolting these two bolts in the back. Not really hard, just time consuming, really, more or less, because this one you can only get your open in, the other one you can get your box in. It's just time consuming. Okay, a few things. I took the old bleeder off of the old wheel cylinder. It was a little shorter, and I was worried about it hitting that A-arm, so I just took it off and put it on the new one, because there wasn't nothing wrong with it. And I'm gonna make sure you leave this cap on while you're installing it, that way you don't get any dirt down inside your brake hole. And then another thing, this thing did not come with a gasket. There's a seal, see that little indention of the markings? I think I'm just gonna use a little dab of RTV and go that way with it. I don't think that'll hurt it. So that's just to keep dust and stuff from getting inside your brake drum there. So that's what I'm gonna do now, and I'm ready for the install. It's back on finally. I will say it was a little tricky starting these two bolts to the wheel cylinder. Can't even see it. But anyways, that other one. Best thing I can say is I started the side had the banjo fitting. I started that wheel cylinder bolt first, and then I was able to have the other one, like I was able to start it after that. And it just took a little while turning the bolts and things like that. There is also another spring under here. It's on the back. It's on the back side of this wheel cylinder, and it connects here and also here. So make sure you get that in. This castle nut, I don't know the exact specifications for torque. Maybe if you want to look in a maintenance manual or something, but I just always get them good and snug and leave the hole in there because you got a card key. And again, it is a 27. As far as adjusting these, I still have to bleed the master cylinder as well, but the book says, you know, get your little star nuts, or 2 of them down here, and going down is loosening on both of them, and then going up is tightening. But go up with them until you can't turn it anymore, and then back them off like 2 or 3 stars. Put your screwdriver in there and hit up and just count 1, 2, 3 like that. So, and then that should be good right there. Now we're ready to bleed the brakes. It's been my experience with these screws. You want to push down as hard as you can with a Phillips head screwdriver. Twist these things out, and I would probably put anti-seize on the bolts just in case you ever want to try to take them back out of it, because they will strip out the head and then you'll be in a world of hurt. But just make sure you always use either .4 or .3. I mean, you can read it on there. But bleeding them should be the last step here and finish the final adjustments. So